This JSAIM training will walk you through the onboarding process for eMoney Advisor and hopefully address any questions that might come to mind as you go through the process, helping you explain why the information is being asked and what it's used for. Once you've received your JSAIM login email to create an account for eMoney, and you do so, you'll have a username and a password, and the first time you sign in, you'll be taken to a screen like this. It says, "Let's get started." The purpose of the onboarding process is to gather essential information to help you begin planning for your future, for future goals, create spending data, etc., so that you can do what you need to do to visualize your financial behavior. If at any time throughout the onboarding process you have any questions, feel free to contact your coach or send an email to support@jsaim.com and we will get back to you quickly to answer those questions. If for some reason you do not want to go through the onboarding process, you can at any time click this link that says go to my homepage. If you do that, just as a little warning, you will be prompted to go through these questions until they have been completed because the questions here are essential to the planning process. If you want to add the information later, we do have another instructional video called Adding Info in the Organizer. Check that out and you will be able to see how to add this same information a little more manually, so to speak, in the organizer. It will take you more time, it will be a little more difficult, but you'll see how this works. If you do not want to go through these questions this way, hit continue, send an email to support@jsaim.com, and we will take the onboarding process off for your account. Well, let's get started. I am using a sample client that I have done this process with before, but we'll be able to show you how this works. First question you're asked is what's on your mind. You are asked this information, some of these preliminary questions with regards to goals and what's on your mind, so that you can begin to focus your financial behavior on what means most to you, your goals and your values. And if you sit down in a meeting with a JSAIM coach, he or she can also have a clear picture of what your values and goals are. You can click and unclick anything on this list that is of interest to you, also adding your own, whatever might be missing. In the next step, you're asked to again prioritize some of these more common things. There is a place, and I will show you that before we're done, where you can add your own customized goals or important values here. You can rearrange these any way you wish. And you are then asked what keeps you up at night. What things make it difficult for you to sleep? Living too long, caring for parents, whatever it might be, add your own if needs be. Now you begin to be asked some personal questions. There is a high level of security in eMoney Advisor. If you have questions about any of those security features, please send an email to support@jsaim.com and we can get you the security information if that makes you a little wary. You are asked your name, birth date, gender. The essential thing, I know it says optional, date of birth optional, but to begin to plan for timing elements, birth dates are important. If you don't put it in there, you will be able to project to a certain date. You have to do the math in your head. I guess if that's not a problem to you, that's just fine. This will help calculate your retirement dates, your possible death dates for planning. Next is information about your marital status, single, separated, divorced, married, etc., and information about your spouse if you have one. Next, information about your family. This will help with college savings planning, wedding planning, future goals, vacations. Debbie Miller we added as Frank's mother so that we could illustrate long-term care planning for retirement. But add any information you need to about children. It's very simple, first, last, birth date. Next is your salary information. Your employer, your job, optional. The quantity of your salary is fairly important. If you don't put that in, again, you have a hard time visualizing and planning and projecting based on what you are making, what your spending data is compared to your salary, adjusting for inflation and increases in that. As well as planning for retirement, Social Security, for example, is dependent upon your income. Also asked about your spouse, if they work, and their desired retirement age, and your goals for then retirement, not just now, but for later. Click to add your own or check any of these boxes as you see fit. Next, we come to future goals or expenses that you might have. You see we put in a few here. We have a wedding planned, we've got a couple of college goals, savings goals. We do have a long-term care goal that we put in. Start year, end year, we predict it for going for 14 years. The amount you put in is not the total amount, that is the amount per year that you wish to spend. So in this case, it would be $5,000 per year for 14 years. In this part, you put in your real estate, your properties. It's pretty simple. Add a home, the value. You can put in more information later, or property, same thing. Cars, homes, whatever it might be. If there is a professional that you have, a CPA for example, as you see here, that you would like to work with, we can add them as a partner professional that you can grant access to portions of your plans or your websites too. If you want to do that, there is a couple extra steps to that. You'd have to contact your representative and we can work through that process. That's it. That's the onboarding process to help you get started. I'll show you now where that data goes. If you come to the website, you can see a summary of everything that you've entered in the organizer portion of your personal financial website. This is also where you would add the information later if you chose not to do so in the onboarding process. If you come to the organizer, you can see your future goals that you put down listed. You can also go and see your financial priorities. This is where you would put any customized priorities that you have, be able to rearrange these as you kind of reevaluate them. And income, expenses, and savings. This is again where you see that same thing. You can begin to add more. If you have any further questions or want to know a little bit more about adding things here, again check out the video that we have called Adding Info in the Organizer. That's the onboarding process. Please, if you have any questions or feel like you need a little bit more information about the onboarding process, make sure you send an email to support@jsaim.com and we will get back to you with whatever information you requested. Have fun planning.